That's the active boom working for me doing this. It's just a safety precaution, and I don't want to rely on the snow to hold me up. What it does is, if I'm trying to go to the right and my inside track starts spinning, the winch will start pulling to the left so that it straightens the machine up. It's a really good system. Gets you out of the crap quite often. But it's good for things like this. If you're cross pushing and that, it keeps you pulling in a straight direction. Then you don't spin the tracks and loosen everything up. What I want to do is try and get a bit of a ditch leading back in this way, so at least if any snow comes down, it stays in the slope, it doesn't go out there where it's useless. That'll fill up with natural snow later, but...
Har vi Winch i branschen? Har du på någonting?
Looks like a mess now, but you got to break some eggs before you can make an omelette, as the saying goes. There's a few eggs in front of us. I'm going to try and get that other machine to feed me some snow. In theory, if I sit here with my blade down, she can push it down to me, and then as I work up I can pack it in, and it stops it running down here 100 miles an hour and causing an avalanche. But I'm probably going to have to go up and try and get my cable to sit to the side a bit so that she can actually fit down beside it. I don't want her running over my cable. She's smarter than that, but... much, it's about 1 metre, but hopefully that'll give her a bit of space. And the weight of the machine pulling down on it means it shouldn't flick to the side until I come back up again. Which is also why if you're ever near a winch machine, you shouldn't be anywhere between the machine and what it's anchored to, because it can ping across at any time and it'll do damage to your machine, or if you're on foot it'll probably take your feet off.
So unfortunately the GoPro was working too hard and I don't have a spare battery, so I had to switch to the old spy camera, but it's only for a little bit. Hopefully it's not too irritating.
This area was really messy just before. I was planning to start about 20 metres down and then start pushing up to build a bridge over the top of it, but for some reason it's naturally sitting there, so not going to argue when the snow wants to play ball. I think this is the snow that we've been making today. Our snowmakers have been running a ratnik today, trying to get some wet stuff for us. And it looks like it might do the trick, but I don't want to count my chickens before they hatch. But that is what we want. The idea is to go very slowly. I mean, I think this has traction control on the winch anyway, so once you're over 3 tons it won't let you go too fast, but I don't want to go too fast because if one track slips it'll dig a hole and throw all the snow that we've just put here back to the bottom of the slope, so you've got to be very gentle with it. But that looks good. That's what I want it to look like.
You want some more snow?
Yeah, I'll take a little bit more. It looks dodgy, but it's wet, so it's... I mean, if it bounced and hit the window, it might crack it, but... Oh, maybe not. She is being as gentle as she could possibly be. To be fair, if it looks abusive, have a look on YouTube of some of the guys who just plow a machine 100 miles an hour into a pile of snow. That's going to hurt the blade and the frame a lot more than this does. This is just a few taps on the front of the blade. You won't see this in any grooming manuals. Snow is sticky, the grade is quite steep. And I don't need the snow near there, I need it further down, so this shouldn't work, but it is, so I've learned a thing today. stupid and it works, it ain't stupid. Isn't that what they say? Okay, send us some more. Realistically, we still need to come up probably half a metre here at least. And that's not including the outside where we need a piece cunt, they call them here. We call a drunk person in New Zealand, but it's an edge basically, which we have on all of our slopes to maintain the snow. But on this one, it's actually to maintain the skiers, because if a skier falls over at the top, it's such a steep grade that they end up, well, they could end up anywhere if we don't put a side on. So the idea is this slope, instead of being sort of crowned, it should be concave, so that when someone falls over, they end up in the center and then they slide straight to the bottom in the center. In theory. That's right, we actually designed this slope for the incompetence of the people that might ski on it. But also it still retains snow as well, that's the other idea of it. We really wanted wet snow and we've got it, which is excellent, but it's so wet now that she can't even push it off the edge. It just sits there. Maybe try one more and then I'll probably try my trick again. Then maybe we'll have to move over a bit and let this set for a little bit.
Yeah.
She's doing all the work. Her and my cable. Right. I've never done it this way before. This is very unique. God, it's that sticky, I can't get it off. was all this snow yesterday? There you go. Let's have a look out the window and see what it looks like. Trusting an 11mm cable to hold me on a 45-degree slope made out of snow. Oh, I'm lying, it's 36 degrees. Might try and come down there. I want to let this set a little bit. We're at 10. Oh, there it goes. See what I mean? That will break your legs very fast. -4, it's not very cold. What we really want is humidity. If there's moisture in the air, the snow is going to stick together, but without it, we're not going to have a good day. Shit, it's cold out there. This is actually a proper harness. I just hate wearing it because I can't move. Well, I suppose if the machine's going A over T, then I don't really want to move, but that's not the goal. If it's going A over T, I've done something wrong. Yes, it does have a heated seat. Of course it has a heated seat. The winter vehicle. This is never a good feeling. You do it a million times, it still feels horrible. Still going. I haven't bothered videoing it all because it's probably not very exciting to watch. It's time consuming, but it's getting better slowly. But I shouldn't jinx it, but hopefully it will get a decent shape in it tonight, and then tomorrow I can actually start trimming this ready to groom. They want it open in a couple of days, and there's still the bottom to do. There's quite a lot of work at the bottom, so we'll see how we go for time. It might be a late night tonight anyway. side was down probably about a metre lower when we started, and naturally all the snow's trying to shoot off to that side. So we've got this wet stuff, and I've slowly been building this up and packing it in. Hopefully it will stay there. So I've got to take it super slow, but super slow is eventually going to pay off, hopefully. If we do it fast, then all the snow's just going to end up off to the side where we can't get it. So this is tedious, but hopefully it will get us the result we want in the end and save us time long term. You've got to be very careful, because if I lock up a track or slide, then it can undo a few hours of work. And it's not super simple to get it back to where we want it. Got wet snow that we put on top now, so that's going to help us, but the problem is the underside is still dry, and if we put too much weight on it, if I've got too much momentum coming backwards and then I stop or slow down too quickly, then that momentum transfers into the snow underneath me. It'll drag, and then it'll disturb the snow underneath this wet stuff. So it's a real balancing act. I hate to use that term again, but this is the hardest bit, because the winch is trying to pull me that way a little bit. So when I back up, there's not much weight on that track, and that track wants to just take off by itself. So the snow on the outside is holding me up a bit more than the snow on the inside, which means that it's more likely to let go. You'll be able to feel it in your backside and watch your mirrors. How I normally build the slope. This is a very impromptu way of building. I'm trying to dump it roughly where I want it, run over it, then come back over it again, and it should pack it in and break it down a bit. Probably going to let it settle and freeze a bit before I try and trim it. The longer the better, usually. Winch a little bit there just to compensate for the lack of pull on that side, because my anchor is not directly in front of me, it's off to the left a little bit. So that's why I say I'm getting better hold on my left than on my right, and the active winch sort of compensates for that. Otherwise I'm sort of hanging on nothing there. It's hard to describe. I need to be more articulate. There's a dip in the middle there, on my left. I'm not so worried about that, because if I get this right, then any snow we push from the top is only going to go through the middle. But if we get this wrong, then all that snow can carry off down the side here, and then it just creates a ton of work that we don't need.